Thanks, Siki. Marikana Commission investigations focus on the police, and Greece's parliament approves new austerity measures. That's in the news. Good morning. The Marikana Commission of Inquiry is to investigate the lawfulness of the conduct of the South African Police Service that resulted in the fatal shooting of 34 people. Judge Ian Farlam has explained that the commission will be divided into phases, with the first phase dealing with events between 9 and 16 August. Farlam says they've made this decision following arguments by legal teams regarding this matter.
An investigation into whether participants in the crowded protesters at Wonderkop on 16 August 2012 should be held criminally liable for the death of 34 of their fellow protesters and/or in respect to the alleged attempted murder or assault of SAPS members at the scene. 2.4. The direct causes of and legal responsibility of any party for the deaths and injuries to any persons and damage to property at Marikana during the period 9 to 16 August 2012.
Farlam has also responded to requests from some legal teams asking the Commission to make findings after the conclusion of the first phase.
It's not possible for us at this stage to know whether it will be appropriate. It may well be that the end of the argument at the end of the first phase, it will be clear that in respect of certain issues, it may be possible to give findings. I think if findings are to be made, they would be provisional findings, interim findings and not final ones.
Mining giant AngloGold Ashanti says its earnings slumped by 49% in the third quarter, thanks in large part to the labor unrest at South African mines. The world's third largest gold producer says profits fell to $235 million versus $457 million a year before, amid strikes that froze production. AngloGold Ashanti says operations were back to normal at all but one of its mines. Police are keeping mum on the reasons for the suspension of Hawks spokesperson Macintosh Pholela. He's been suspended 3 weeks after making a controversial reference to prison rape on Twitter. Pholela tweeted that he trusted that Jub Jub supporters had given him a jar of Vaseline to take to prison. This was shortly after musician Molemo Jub Jub Maruganye had been convicted of murder. Pholela later apologized for the remark, also via Twitter. SAPS spokesperson Puti Sitati.
The SAPS can confirm that Colonel Pholela has been suspended, and I would like to indicate that this matter is internal in nature, and it's been dealt with as such, and as a result, we won't be sharing a lot of information around this matter.
Overseas, Greece is on the way to receiving the next installment of an international bailout package after its parliament narrowly approved new austerity measures. The package, including tax rises and deep cuts to pensions, was passed by a majority of just 3. The BBC's Mark Lowen reports.
This vote was a precondition so that our children can once again find jobs, so that every Greek will have the possibility for a better future. The next move is the budget. That will also go well. This is where our attention will be focused. The only goal, my personal goal if you like, is to give the Greek people the right to have growth, to bring back smiles.
And finally, a Brisbane newspaper has published what it says are the Australian cricket team's individual plans for targeting South African players, including psychological profiling of the Proteas. The Courier Mail says the plans come from an Australian team dossier. Proteas captain Graham Smith says such attempts at mind games are at worst irrelevant and at best a motivation for the Proteas. The first test in a 3-match series begins in Brisbane at 2 o'clock tomorrow morning, South African time. Recapping the top story, the Marikana Commission of Inquiry is to investigate the lawfulness of the conduct of the South African Police Service that resulted in the fatal shooting of 34 people.